All right, so hello one more time, everybody. Hello, Justė, hello, Sadie, and hello to all of our beautiful attendees who've joined the webinar today. I'm so happy to have so many people in here today. Now, more people are going to join over the next few minutes, and I am really excited to talk to all of you today. Today's webinar topic is Customer Retention 101, turning one-time shoppers into loyal fans. Let's get right into it. Now, before we start talking about customer retention, just wanted to give you a little bit of a background as to why we're doing this webinar. So we have this thing called Omnisend Academy. In case you haven't heard about it, the link is academy.omnisend.com, and we have video and live training in there. The Academy Fundamentals course is really great for Omnisend beginners. So if you're just starting out, I definitely recommend you to give it a watch. We also post our webinar recordings in there. So today's webinar recording is going to be posted in there, and it's also going to be emailed to you automatically in 24 hours. So if you miss anything, we're going to have you covered. And then finally, because of these new changes that Apple is going to be introducing for mail privacy protection in the upcoming iOS 15 update, which is coming sometime this fall, we know that a lot of people are scared about it. A lot of people are clueless about what's going to happen to email marketing. So we made a special playlist for that called iOS 15 video playlist, where we are going to address all of your questions and help you with everything that you need to know to prepare and be ready for the upcoming changes. So start preparing now and check out the video playlist. We're going to be adding more and more content to there as we get more information ourselves. All right, that's a good intro there for the Academy. Let's get into the intro of today's guests. So number one, we have Justė, who's a senior product marketing manager here at Omnisend. Justė strongly believes that the title is way too long, so she likes to call herself a product marketer. She's also got an amazing dog who is with her today at the office, so we might get a little bit of a glimpse of her dog. And that being said, Justė, feel free to say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone. So thank you so much for having me on this episode. As Aleksej mentioned, I'm a product marketing manager doing this for 7 years now. So today will try to share the best of my knowledge base, what I gathered, and you can learn from it. And since Aleksej asked it so much, there's my little doggy sleeping right there, listening to this webinar as well.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much, Justė. Everybody give it up for Justė and raise your hands if you want to hear what she's got for us today. And also raise a hand if you love that dog. I mean, it's way too cute. All right, amazing. Okay, now we don't just have one guest today, we have another one, and the second guest today is Sadie. She's a customer success manager here at Omnisend, and she works with dozens upon dozens of clients. And one thing she does really well is gets people to do more customer retention. That's why we've got her on the webinar today. She's going to share some real customer examples with us and more different ideas of how we can use the strategies that we're going to be sharing today. So Sadie, please feel free to say hi as well.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for the intro, Aleksej. As you mentioned, I am a customer success manager and have been with Omnisend for a little over a year. But I'm super excited to share some of my clients with you guys today to show you some real life examples.
Okay. All right, everybody give it up for Sadie as well. I am really excited to know what you guys think about the examples that she's going to be giving us today. Raise your hands, everybody. Thank you so much. Okay, great. And then finally, last but not least, we have me, Aleksej from Omnisend Academy. Hi, everyone. I'm at the office as well. Let me draw something for you. I've always wanted to do this during like a webinar or a video. Let's do a little smiley face. Hey, everyone. Can you even see it? You cannot. Let's make a larger smiley face. There we go. Okay, you can see that now. Okay, so I'm the senior product expert here at Omnisend. Sorry for that if that was awkward, but I just really wanted to do it. I am going to be here for the Q&A. The girls are going to be presenting everything, all of the content. They've done an amazing job, and we worked really hard together to make sure that today's webinar is engaging and informative and actionable. So I mean, let's get right into it. So that's the trio of superheroes that you're going to have today. And our superpower is teaching you how to make more customers stick for longer. So let's get sticky. Let's look at the exact things that we're going to be talking about today. Number one, we're going to cover what is customer retention and why is it important. Please raise, this is just out of curiosity, please raise a hand if you've never done anything for customer retention and you're just focusing on acquisition primarily. Raise a hand if that's you. Okay, some people raise their hands, more people raising their hands. Okay. Now raise a hand if you are already doing customer retention, but you would like to learn more strategies that you can use inside of Omnisend to do it. Okay, that's way more people. Okay. So we're going to talk about, for those who've never done retention, we're going to talk about what it is and why it's important, all of the data behind that. We're going to cover number two, which is customer acquisition versus retention. I don't really like the word versus here because both of these are equally as important. We have to do both, but we also have to know how to find the right balance between the two. So that's what we're going to talk about. Number three, we're going to look at 3 different segmentation tools that we can use as backbone of our retention. Retention is highly dependent on being really personalized, really targeted, and segmentation helps us achieve exactly that. And then finally, number 4, we're going to be sharing examples of how our users and other marketers outside of Omnisend are implementing these strategies to drive more repeat sales. So raise a hand, everybody, if you are excited. I am going to be muting myself for now and giving it off to the ladies, and I'm going to be back for the Q&A. Okay, Justė and Sadie, there you go.
Hi, Aleksej, and everyone. Aleksej, just one thing. One of the viewers posted that they don't see our cameras. Maybe you can double check.
We can only see the photos titles, not the live cams. I'm not sure. The last time we did this, everybody could see the live cams on top of the presentation. So maybe if more people could let me know in the chat what you guys are seeing, would be really, really useful. I can see you guys. I can see both. I can see everybody. I can see the slides and the live cams.
Okay.
Not sure. For everybody, it's working. So I mean, nothing I can do from my side. So yeah, go ahead, Justė.
Perfect. Okay, so then I will start. So before we get into all hows and whys, let's establish what is retention so we are all on the same page. So simply, retention is gaining more profit from your existing customer base, right? So acquisition is actually driving and growing your customer base, while customer retention is getting profit and repeat income from your existing users. So if you put it from your activity side, so basically is everything focused on your acquired users, which you already have, to make them convert better and gain as much as you can. It's two-way relationship, right? You give them, they give back to you. So why retention is important? There are mainly 2 reasons. Of course, we can find even more, but 2 is monetary. So basically, it allows you to spend your marketing budget wiser, right? Because it costs up to 7 times more to acquire new user rather to maintain your existing user. And it's easier to grow using retention strategies. For example, Aleksej, in the next slide, exactly, right? If acquiring new users is 7 times more expensive and the user it's maximum 20% that user will convert. So while your existing user will 5 times likely more convert and spend more on your shop rather than the new user, right? So we already see the value of retargeting that user. And as you see, only 5% increase in retention rate can lead up to 95% increase in profitability. We cannot promise that you will instantly see 95% profitability, but 5% effort equally to 25% or more increase in profit, I think that's a good investment. And as we establish the value of it, it's probably you have a question, if this is strategy for me, what I can do with it. And retention strategy is for you if you could run your business on subscription model, if you can upsell and cross-sell. So let's give more examples to that. Let's say you own a coffee shop, right? And people constantly need to top up their coffee beans because they drink coffee, and then you can upsell them with the mugs or coffee machines or cleaning devices. Great strategy for you. If, for example, you sell baby clothes and stuff and items, it's also a strategy for you. You just need to think about that your life cycle with that client will be shorter. So you need to find this balance, how many new users to acquire and how many users to retain and stop retaining them, right? Another thing would be pet supplies, candles, clothing, candies, you name it. However, if your shop is all about one-time sales, like wedding dresses, luxury tires, I don't know, super expensive big furniture, which you need to renew once in a while, probably you shouldn't focus too much on retention, but focus more on referral strategies where you create such a nice experience of shopping that those people will refer you and bring you new customers on the go. And of course, sorry, Alex, can we come back a little bit? One more important factor, right? When to start doing retention. I think it's also important to understand. So basically, when you start seeing traction, it's a good time to do that. What does it mean seeing traction? So we advise if you see already 5 sales per day, let's say, you can start doing the retention strategy. So if you build your customer base up to 500, 1,000 subscribers, 5 sales per day, start shooting at least minimal retention into your marketing mix and start searching for that balance of acquisition and retention strategy. And the next one, thank you. And so now focus on how. The main word here is segmentation. As for acquisition, you keep coming those users, you have a huge pool of customers. Let's say you have 5,000 subscribers, but they're not the same people. So it means you need to segment into different clusters to address their personal needs. So you don't need to do it one by one, but you can cluster into bigger groups and send them the offers which they will love. For example, if you acquired user a month ago and he came through a advertising clicking on the discount, you can address them in one way rather than addressing users who came organically and bought from you maybe 10 times already. And now let's address the elephant in the room, iOS 15. Probably you were thinking, okay, I send an email, they opened it, I can retarget them on that. But we heard that Apple is going to shut this opportunity, right? By not sharing email opens information. However, with segmentation, that is not a problem because we retarget users on their engagement based on stronger metrics like clicks, purchase history, how often they come back to your shop, and how much value they created for you. Let's say how much they bought from you. So open rates are not a problem here, so you shouldn't be worried at this point. And now let's deep dive into methods. I will cover 3 methods how you can segment your users. But before, let's do the generic cover-up of Omniscient Reports. So if you haven't introduced yourself to these new reports yet, so basically, if you can go to your dashboard, to Analytics tab, and there you will find new reports, which is lifecycle stages, funnels, retention, product analytics, and more. Today, we will cover the 3 main ones. But the good thing is, when I talked about segmentation, you probably thought, oh my God, that's so much work to do, right? Getting the data, analyzing it, filtering it, understanding what segment you want to create, right? This is a big thing to do. So Omnisend got your back. We created this for you. So we do all the hassle. So you just come into report, see visually, as you see in this chart, that we show you how many users in different segments you have. So besides doing the hard work for you, we also made these reports actionable. So basically, by clicking on a cell, you will be provided predefined segments which you can employ into your campaigns or automations or whichever activity you want. So you basically need just to think what you offer for them rather than do all the hard work. So let's deep dive into those reports. First one is Lifecycle Stage Map. I think that's the favorite one of ours. Actually, this one shows you your whole client base distributed through their engagement with your app. It goes from about to lose to champions. But what are the difference between these customers, right? So champions and loyalists are those who actually love your brand, come back to you, buy often, and they really advocate for you. So you should be loving those clients back for sure. For example, those about can't lose, those clients were your advocates. They bought from you, they spent actually quite a bit of money with you, but they didn't come back in a while. So you probably want to re-engage with them and remind about yourself. And about to lose ones, those clients you acquired, but they never purchased from you yet. So maybe they visit your store recently, maybe not that recent, but they made zero purchase with you. And these are harder to convert clients, as I said before, right? There's only 20% maximum that you can convert them. So how can you do this? So basically, as I mentioned, you have a segment and you need to think of their properties. Are they engaged with you? Are they not engaged with you? And what they did before with your brand, right? Then you need to think about an offer, what you can offer for them. So for example, a discount, exclusivity, free shipping, new products, and how you want to engage them. Maybe you want to set up an automation and say, keep on rolling that for me. Or you have a one-time offer for them and just want to blast it for this one time, right? So few examples on this edge. So basically, if we take champions and loyalists, the ones who love your brand, contact them and say them, hey guys, let's say the coffee example, we have exclusive beans this time, limited amount, we are offering just for you. And by the way, don't be afraid to experiment with this group of your customers because they love your brand, they are forgiving, so you can send them an SMS instead of an email, or even if you will make a mistake, just apologize and they will come back to you. So keep playing with this segment group, invite them for feedback, give them discounts, give them exclusivity, message them, maybe contact them via push notifications. Be bold with those guys. For example, those can't lose, right? Just remind them that you are, because they bought from you. They know your brand. They're familiar. You don't need to introduce yourself. You just need to remind about yourself. And of course, if you add an extra discount for them, they will be just more happy about it. And for those who never converted in about to lose segment, just try to create more social proof for yourself. Build their trust in your brand. Send them some definitions about your products, how you work, maybe some referrals, and try to build them up to buy from you. But let's look into real examples with Sadie.
Thank you, Justė. So first and foremost, I want to introduce you guys to one of my clients, Island Olive Oil Company. They're actually a small business in Hawaii, and they have a brick and mortar store, but they also have their e-commerce side as well. So in conversation with them, they were really looking to improve their overall customer retention, especially on their e-commerce site. So I introduced them to the customer lifecycle stages. They and many other of my clients see that the largest portion of their customers are actually in that about to lose segment. And so you instantly think this is where I need to focus my attention. However, in most cases, once customers have fallen into this about to lose segment, it is a lot more difficult to get them to purchase with you again without begging and pleading and possibly losing your cool. Plus, you're going to be wasting a lot of time and resources on the audience that makes up the smallest portion of your revenue. And if you're a one man or you are a small team, you don't have the time or the resources to waste. So instead, we focused our attention on what strategies we can implement to keep customers from falling into that dreaded about to lose segment. And that included creating an automated workflow, almost like a boundary, so we have less customers falling into that about to lose segment. And we did this by sending very personalized, targeted emails to customers who fell into this can't lose and at-risk segments. And something else that Omnisend does with a lifecycle map is showing you that the can't lose and the at-risk customers are quite different in regards to their overall lifetime value. So we decided to send different offers based on these metrics. And if you aren't already familiar with your average cart value, the customer breakdown will show you this. And using this, we chose to give a higher voucher amount off of a higher cart value for the can't lose customers and a lesser but still relevant voucher amount from a lesser cart amount for the at-risk customers. We also added product recommendations to pique interest in each customer that receives these emails. And we've honestly only had these automations live for a few weeks, and we're already seeing a ton of sales roll in. So that's it with Island Olive Oil. Back to you, Justė.
Thank you, Sadie. As you see, we have an actual proof that minimal effort brings quite a lot of value. So keep on doing that, guys. So another way of segmenting and doing retention is looking into your funnels. So basically, if you think about your sales funnel, you have a customer coming into shop. But actually, not to scare you guys, but according to some data, only 43% goes from your main homepage into actual product page, and only 3% from that convert into purchasing. So this is very good way to look at your segments and where they are in their shopping experience with you. So basically, if you see that most of the clients drop off at some stage, you can try to save them and actually push them next extra step to conversion to purchase. So funnels help you to do that. Maybe to describe the biggest difference between lifecycle stages and funnels, funnels are focused on a 30-day window period, while lifecycle stages shows you your customer base distribution. And lifecycle stages are also, refers to shoppers' frequency, monetary value, and recency, while funnels show their engagement basically almost in real time. And I will cover now the three main stages that you can focus. So first one is awareness, right? So it's very top of your funnel. They're just engaging with your brand. They just know you. So I wouldn't recommend, ambushing them with discounts and information and everything. This is a stage where you have to kind of nurture, give them some information about you to build the trust. After you do that and you push them into intending stage, this is where you can, share some social proof about your brand that, X amount of people bought from me, they're so happy. And of course, if you trust me, here you go, a discount as well. Those always works. And from intending, you push people to purchase phase, right? So this is a great way to capture those users, those customers who never bought from you, and actually say, hey, buy now. You already trust me. You see other people trust me. Here, a discount, free shipping, just buy. So this is how funnels works. And if you go through the same logic, we have a segment. which we understand how his properties and how these people behave and where they are. We have an offer and we have a process. And of course, for funnels is a great way to automate, since it's only a beginning of the journey and you can put it on automation and keep that circle going. Sadie, how about those examples from your side?
Of course, yeah. So there's a ton of different ways that you can actually use the funnel report. And one way is actually seeing where exactly your customers seem to be falling off in this customer journey and creating a strategy to improve retention. For example, if you see that many people are falling off after that second order column, maybe it would be a good idea and really beneficial to create an automated series as a refill reminder. And give your customers some more education on what your product is. And plus this gentle reminder just tells them, hey, it's time to purchase again. And you could set these up to trigger after X amount of days, X amount of months post-purchase. So again, just that simple reminder can help improve overall retention using the funnels report.
And now the third method, how you can segment your users, or actually in this way more saying your product. So we have product analytics report, which actually in difference compared to previous two methods, this one combines your product data and your client data into one and actually uncovers for you your customer product preferences. That sounds heavy, customer product preferences, but what it means, you will see the most popular products that are loved by your customers. So in this report, you will see top popular products, top cart abandonment products, you should think about those as well, top first and repeat purchase products, and top recommended products among the others. Moreover, this report is also actionable. So if you click on the product, you will see product profile, where you will have information and see if it's very popular with one segment or another, and what you can do, the straight recommendations, and then you need just to employ it. So when we go to the logic here, thinking about segments, so we have additional new variable product here. Before we were thinking, okay, I have a segment and I want to engage that segment. Now you can mix and match the two, right? You can say, I have the product which is the most popular when purchased first time from my side, right? And I have a segment which never purchased from me. So why not to engage them and send them a promotion, including that product and maybe discount for that. And you can set this as automation, so it rolls all the time. Or maybe you can have a product which is popular for second and third purchase, right? So you can re-engage the group who made only one purchase from you and send it as a one-time thing and offer them a huge discount because you want to sell out before a new collection appears in your store. So that's from my side. How about you, Sadie?
Perfect. All right. So product recommendations use product insights to send targeted email campaigns to a segmented list of potential buyers. For example, one of my favorite places in the whole entire world, it's not Disney World, it's Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A sent out this email to their entire audience on this new product that they're releasing. But if they had actually used Omnisend's product insights, they could build and create a segment of a more targeted audience to send this campaign to using the product insights with the potential buyer segment. So next slide, please. You can also make product recommendations based off of repeat orders, as Justė mentioned. And you can add fan favorites to add value to your abandoned cart emails or to help customers make a decision on their first purchase in your welcome series. Or you can always create a campaign based on why our customers keep coming back and displaying those top products purchased from your repeat customers. This is one of my clients' emails, Day Designer, and they always include product recommendations in their emails, but they could go a step further and use these product reports to display why their customers keep coming back with these product recommendations from the product reports. All right. Also, another thing is that you can exclude certain segments of customers from your campaigns, including those who maybe have purchased in the last 2 weeks, especially if you're sending out a promotional campaign to keep your number one customer service reps happy, because it's always a mess if you get an influx of emails and your customer service reps are having to complete refunds because your customer said, hey, I just bought this 2 days ago. Can you give me this 20% off discount? So including exclusion in your campaign sends is also another good strategy to use. And then also, if you are on the Pro or the Enterprise plan with Omnisend, users can also use Facebook and Google Ad Sync to retarget ads to segments like the Can't Lose segment. And then finally, we have acquisition. So you can sync segments with Facebook and or Google Ads and create lookalike audiences to target similar profile people. So your champions and your loyalists in your lifecycle stage map would be a perfect segment to create lookalike audiences to retarget ads in Facebook or Google. All right. And then also note before you wrap up, Aleksej, something I always tell my clients too is, and I'm sorry if this makes you cringe, but these different channels like email, push notifications, SMS updates, Facebook and Google ads, these are all like love languages. And so some of your customers are going to speak and react more so to some channels versus other channels. So be sure that you're utilizing all of these channels in Omnisend when we're talking about repeat purchasers, when we're talking about acquisition, just because, you know, it's better to make sure that you're talking to the right audience with the right channel. Okay. All right. Sorry, Aleksej.
All right. Thank you so much. And that was really sweet, Sadie. And thank you so much, Justė, as well. Everybody raise your hands if you enjoyed that and if you found that information informative. All right. Lots of raised hands. I better take a screenshot of this so that I have proof. Last time when everybody was raising their hands and my entire screen was filled up, I didn't take a screenshot and I did not have any proof to show my team. I said, we had an amazing time during the webinar. Nobody believed me because I didn't take a screenshot. So this time I'm prepared. Okay, so that was amazing. I really enjoyed it, really short and sweet. Let's do a quick sum up, a quick wrap up before we go on to the Q&A. Now we have a lot of time for that, so everybody stick around and you can ask as many questions as you want, and we're going to try to handle as many as we humanly can. But before we do that, some actionable key takeaways, because it was a lot of information. We want to make sure that you can use this information to take action and make more repeat sales. So let's look at those. Number one, segment your audience using the 3 strategies that we showed you today: customer lifecycle stages, funnels, and product analytics. These are really easy and simple to understand and use actionable reports that you can segment your audience based on. So if you are looking into improving your retention strategy, you have to use these. Now, raise a hand if you will, after this webinar, if you promise to me that you will go and look at one of these reports and you will try to create a segment. Raise a hand. Okay, great. You promise. Now you cannot not do this. You will have to do this after the webinar. We want you to at least try using these things. Now, number 2, use automations to drive repeat sales on Autopilot. Now, we talked about both email campaigns and automations, and we also touched upon SMS and push notifications, like the love languages, like Sadie mentioned. You can do all that, but if you are just starting with customer retention, we recommend to start with a simple automated email sequence, like Sadie showed you with that olive brand, whatever the name of that brand was, I don't remember, I'm sorry, the Hawaiian brand. They had a very simple automation running for a couple of weeks. And as Sadie said, that's already bringing in repeat sales. So start very simple with a very simple automated email sequence to try if this is going to work, okay? We want you to have really simple steps to follow after this webinar. So create a segment and create an automation to do something with that segment. And basically that dives really nicely into the mix and match offers and segments part. The strategy that Justė showed with the 3 different columns, where you have a segment, you have an offer, and you have a way of delivering that offer to that segment. And you mix and match those. You think of as many as you can for each column, and you mix and match them, and you can come up with lots of great stuff that you can do. Okay, and that's pretty much everything we covered today. So just 3 simple things. And last, 4th one, which is prioritize. In other words, keep it simple. Okay, you don't have to have all of these at the same time. You don't have to use all 3 different strategies at the same time. Just as you promised to do, after this webinar, go and try at least one of them and set up at least one automation with that. Okay, you don't have to do all of these. As you showed, 5% increase in retention can lead to up to 95% increase in profitability. So keep it simple and start small. All right. Oh, that was a really long wrap up. Okay, so one last thing before we move on to the Q&A. And I already saw a question about the iOS changes. So we have this new website that we just launched last week, which is Opens Are Dead. And that's our single source of truth for the information about these upcoming changes. So we post our videos there, we post blog articles, we post tweets, we post memes, we post everything that you need to know to prepare for these changes. So if you are worried about this, or if you're just curious about what's going to happen to email marketing because of this, obviously it's not going to die, but open rates are going to die. So opensaredead.com, check that out and look for information there if you're curious. Okay, so I'm sorry for taking up so much time. I see that there's already plenty of questions in the Q&A, so now we can finally get into that and address some of those. So Justė and Sadie, I'm not sure if you've looked at those yet, so I'm going to start, not to put you on the spot like this. I'm going to start. I've already seen a question about the iOS changes. So that is, how will you manage open triggers once iOS open rate or open data based triggers once iOS changes are implemented this fall? So number one, we are seriously encouraging our customers to switch from open rate based triggers to triggers based on the other more meaningful things. Open rates are kind of like a vanity metric, although it's being used for over 20 years now with email marketing. It doesn't really mean anything. It's an early indicator, but what really matters is clicks, engagement, and sales. So we are going to encourage our customers to use those as their main metrics and create automations based on that, based on whether people click, based on whether people buy. A lot of these reports that we showed you today allow you to segment people based on those things. The customer lifecycle stages are based on purchase, frequency, and recency. They are not based on open rates. So are the funnels. So part of the funnels is based on open rates, but we're going to change that accordingly. So basically, to sum that up, we're going to be there for you with the right information, and we are going to make sure that our product is ready as well. So we are already preparing for this. We're definitely going to make sure that you are safe and prepared. All right, Justė and Sadie, you now have probably had the time to look at some questions. So let me know if there's anything interesting that you girls would like to address. Anything in the Q&A that caught your eye?
Yeah, I'm trying to read through them. Can you talk more about what types of messaging are most effective for each stage of the transition from about to lose at risk to champions? So me, in my experience, I'm always going to side with automations. Campaigns can and are very effective, but automations, I'm sorry, are kind of do the work for you. Yes, they take a little bit more time up front, but I would be sure, because again, the lifecycle stages are looking at purchase history. So you probably have a lot of information on these customers, including their name. I would add as much personalization to these messages as possible, including their first name, last name, possibly. Let's see what type of are most effective. And then two, I'll just reiterate, the about to lose customer is a lot more hard to target than the other segments. So And I will always refer back to my grocery store days. I used to work for a grocery store company in Tennessee, where I'm from. And I worked specifically in customer analytics. And we segmented customers much like the customer lifecycle stages does now. And what we saw is we had a lot of resources and time dedicated to the tertiary customers or the about to lose customers. And we saw that we put in all this time and effort, we gave them cash, and the amount of return was embarrassing. So what we decided to do was focus on those middle segments and try to push them into that customer, the loyalty stages, and keep and maintain those champions and those loyalists in that segment. So again, you can talk to your about to lose customers, but it's going to be a lot more effective messaging if you focus more so on those middle segments and those champions and those loyalists.
Exactly. I think Sadie just showed that there are no exceptions here. As I mentioned before, right? Those clients who never bought from you, there's max 20% that you can convert them. So there's a lot of effort you have to put there. So there's definitely no bulletproof way. So it is easier to go for those low-hanging fruits and convert those users who bought from you but didn't come back to your store for a while, rather than those who never bought. And you can always address if you track where your users came from or when they came from, right? They saying, okay, you've been here, you came looking in my spring collection, now autumn is coming, look, maybe you want to take a look into this new collection and also have a discount on a summer collection, because Indian summer is a thing everywhere, right? So you just need to adapt your messaging to the situation, what is happening now, and maybe a little bit try to guess what your clients will want in a day or two.
And I would like to add that Sadie said that automations are really great for the customer lifecycle stages, but for those customers that fall into the champions and loyalists phases, having a separate newsletter for those is really, really effective. Something that we talked about last month when we did the webinar about the email content calendar. If you have an email content calendar that you basically, where you note for yourself who you're messaging when, it's really easy to maintain a VIP newsletter type of thing. And your champions and loyalists are really straightforward segments that you can use for a VIP type of newsletter. And you just communicate with them things that are really exclusive discounts, sneak peeks into new upcoming releases that you send to them earlier that you send to everybody else. And that little bit of extra effort is going to make them feel more special, and it is going to get them to stay. It's, once again, to just reiterate what Justė said, it's much easier to do that than getting those about to lose customers the about to lose customers to come back.
Yeah. And then I would also add on too, SMS is a really great channel for your champions and your loyalists, especially if you're doing a limited time product release. Customers, I think it's within 7 minutes, most people open a SMS message. So if you're really trying to target your champions, your loyalists in a timely manner, send them an SMS message saying, hey, you guys have first priority over our other customers whenever it comes to this exclusive sale that we're having. Maybe you have a limited stock. Yeah, SMS is a really great channel for those champions and loyalists as well.
All right, and one last thing. I mean, this is just a really, really broad and great question that we can talk about for hours probably, but I have a story from last week actually from 2 weeks ago about this, the way that I used kind of the same mindset to attract more people to this webinar. What I did is I pulled a list of the people who attended our previous webinar last month about the email content calendar, and I emailed them 1 week prior to emailing everybody else about this webinar. And I said, hey, we're going to have this webinar as promised last time you joined. And just because you were there last time, I decided to let you in a little early. Raise a hand if you were here last time when we talked about the email content calendar. All right, a few people are in here. Okay, so it was very simple to do. It was a very simple email, but it got me a more than 30% click rate on that email, because these people were already familiar with what I do here at Omniscient Academy with these webinars that I do. So it was really easy to get them to come back for another one. So that's pretty much the mindset, that the same mindset, but just not using the customer lifecycle stages or the other things that we showed, but just doing it manually. Okay.
I have another one, if I may.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'll probably just readdress what I said in the beginning of presentation. The question is, for a product that isn't typically bought frequently, about one time a year, probably as a gift, how would you suggest that we segment our audience and continue to engage users? So the main suggestion would be to focus, rather than on retention here, to focus on referrals, right? So you should make your customers work for you and refer them to their friends, family, colleagues, to come to you and say, hey, I bought this amazing thing from this site. Maybe you're looking for something similar. Of course, if you understand that this is a gifting opportunity most of the time, right, you can segment your users who bought from you by the category. Actually, we have this in product report, and see if they bought something for her as a gift, or for him, or for mother or father. Try to find those occasions in the year, or try to look at the similar time when they bought and re-engage them on the similar timing or the similar purchase they did again after 6 months, or that date, around that date. So you could segment your users by that. I think product segmentation here would be more efficient rather than life cycle stage.
It's also really easy to create an automation based on this trigger to ask for referrals, or ask for a review as well, for more, what is it called? For more peer proof, whatever, I don't remember. What you can do is you can create an automation based on whenever somebody makes a purchase, and then put a 30-day delay in there, and then after, or a 2-week delay in there, and after that you ask them for a referral. You say, hey, you're probably enjoying your products a lot. Do you have any friends who would like to use the same? So something like that would also be really, really easy to set up.
I don't know if we're supposed to be doing these in order, but I see one that stands out to me. And it says, which segments will respond best to automations? So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but note that you can add different channels in automations. You can include SMS messages. You can include push notifications. So it's not necessarily which segments best respond to automations. I think your champions, your loyalists, your can't lose, and then what's the other segment? Those are obviously usually going to respond better to your automations, but let's make sure that we're hitting them with the right channel. Again, referring back to my love languages thing, it's just funny. It's just funny to me. If I'm somebody and my love language is quality time, and you try to flood me with gifts, or let's say I respond to SMS marketing, but you try to flood me with email, then I'm probably not going to respond. Even if I am a really engaged customer, maybe I purchase from you frequently, but if you're not targeting me with the right messaging, then I'm not going to respond. So try to diversify your types of messaging in your automations to include push notifications, to include SMS messages, and then of course to include emails as well.
Now, talking about segments, which are the best segments for automations? Going back to the question, what if I were to ask you, girls, what is your top one segment-based automation that you would run for customer retention? What would come to your mind the fastest? I think I would do recent buyers personally, because it's very, very oh my God, I'm out of words today. I'm out of vocabulary. I'm sorry. there's a lot that you can do with it. Let's put it that way. There's a lot that you can do with the recent buyer segment. You can exclude it to make sure that, as Sadie talked about, you can exclude it to make sure that you're not getting a lot of support tickets about a new sale going live one day after they bought something without the sale, without the discount. And you can also do a lot of different automations based on that, asking for referrals, asking for reviews, cross-selling another product to them that might be relevant, that you can do based on the product analytics and product recommendations. You can do an upsell of another product that really makes sense after this product is bought to like upgrade or something like that. You can also do a restock if it's coffee beans or something that is consumable. So I would do recent buyers.
Okay, my favorite one, I would see about to lose, because they already engaged with your brand. They actually brought you some amount of income, which is more significant than from other segments, but they just forgot about you, right? So they need a reminder. So I think this is a low-hanging fruit that you can use to actually boost your profitability quite easily. I think something came up to my mind when Aleksej was speaking. We noticed that a lot of Omnisend customers try to create segments for zero purchases, right? So, and it's logical, it feels intuitively, right? They never bought from me and I want them to buy from me, so I will push and messaging and put my energy there. But as we already discussed here for almost an hour, those customers are hardest to convert, right? That they will buy something from you. You have from 5 to 20% sales opportunity there. And as Sadie showed from her life example working in that shop, she said the results were ridiculous. So I would, advise you to focus on those users who bought from you recently, not recently, loves you. Just at least one very strong purchase engagement is already way stronger factor that you will sell or upsell or cross-sell them rather than zero purchase made.
So my favorite pre-iOS updates. I actually love a customer reactivation automation series. And this kind of helps keep your list clean. And so previously we would do it based on open rates, but I would encourage my or anyone to start using click rates. Start adopting it now so you get used to it. But essentially you can create a segment of people who are inactive. And set up an automation as soon as they fall into that segment of an inactive user, send them an email. You can give them a discounted amount, or you can say, hey, we noticed that you haven't been engaged with our emails. Give us some feedback here, or feel free to give us some feedback, or to give them the option to update their preferences on how many emails they want to receive from you, or what types of emails they want to receive from you. Or again, you can give them some discounted amount. And then you give them a few days, add that delay in your automation. And then if they click on that email, I would add a split. Then if they click on that email, then they'll go down the yes path and they're going to stay on your subscribers list. If they don't click on that email, we're going to tag them as unengaged, and then you can unsubscribe them because again, they're not engaged with your email. And so this is a great way to kind of keep your list clean of anybody who's not engaged. So that would be my favorite, I think. But again, based on click rates this time instead of opens.
Thank you so much for your insights. Now we have another question in the Q&A. One last one that we have today, although there's still a lot of people, so I'm not sure if maybe some of you are hesitant or shy to ask questions. Please feel free. We still have like 10 minutes here that we can answer questions. So, let's take the chance. But the question that we have for now is, as a new Omnisend user, as a newer Omnisend user, how long do you think it will take to develop a good amount of data for these reports? I know that for a new Omnisend user, those would be empty if you don't have any contacts. So used to mention that about 500 to 1,000 subscribers is a good time to start thinking about using retention strategies. And I think when you have about 1,000 subscribers is when you're going to have enough data to get the value from these reports. Now, do you have anything to add on this, Justė or Sadie?
I always think it's a good idea to go ahead and set a foundation. Go ahead and build these automations so that way when you do get a larger subscriber count in the future, you don't have to worry about, okay, well, now that I'm getting some subscribers, maybe now is the time that I should go ahead and do a retention strategy because I don't have a really great retention rate. So building that foundation now is something that you can do in Omnisend. It might not pull in a lot of sales right now, but you've already built that automation. So as soon as people enter or exit these segments or are triggering to go through these specific workflows, you already have it built out.
Awesome. I love that idea. Do you have anything to add, Justė?
I think you covered it perfectly, guys.
Yep, I really love that because all of the segments, they update automatically and continuously. So it doesn't matter if you create them when you have 1,000 contacts already, or if you just create them right off the bat when you have 0 contacts, they're still going to be there for you when you start growing your list. So if you have the time, you might as well just do it now. Awesome. All right, I see a couple more questions come in, but there was another one that was answered by Oscar that I would like to mention now, which is Sadie has mentioned that she has customers. Can I hire a marketer from Omnisend? So to clarify, Sadie is a customer success manager. We have a customer success team of these customer success managers. And what they do is they work with bigger customers of ours with a more personalized approach to make sure that they succeed. Now, what you can do if you would like to hire a marketer from Omnisend, you can do that by hiring an Omnisend partner. That's something that's been recently introduced, and you can go to the top right of the screen where it says the name of your account, click on that, and there's a new link there, a new button that says hire an Omnisend expert. I think that's what it says. So that's one thing you can do, hire an Omnisend partner, and they are going to help you out. It's a new team, it's a new feature, so they're really working hard to make sure that this is useful. So it should be really good. Okay.
Let's see.
As a new Omnisend user, there's another one. As a new Omnisend user, an email list of around 1,500 to 2,000 people with campaigns, should I be breaking those up into segments and sending small portions of emails to customers, or do them all at once? So there's two different, basically there's two different ways that this can go. If all of these are really fresh subscribers, if you've been collecting them over the past few months, they're all going to be really engaged. So some campaigns, like your most important announcements and your best deals, you can send to everybody. But some of these things that we talked about today only make sense when sent to specific segments, like the coffee example. You cannot just send an email campaign to everybody, hey, time to restock your coffee. A lot of those people are going to have maybe they've just bought their coffee beans like a day ago. They don't need more coffee beans. So in this case, it doesn't matter what is the size of your contact list. You have to be segmenting it for a campaign like that to make sense. So it depends on a lot of different variables.
And also depends on what market you're in as well. If you maybe, for instance, sell clothing, or maybe you sell adult clothing and children's clothing, you can always segment your audience based off of what they've purchased before. So if you're sending a campaign to customers who purchase baby clothes, then you can segment based off their purchase history and send them that specific email campaign that's promoting baby clothes over adult clothes.
All right, thank you so much, Sadie. Let's look at some more questions. We've got We've got 1 minute left. So let's finish up with the questions that we have right now. Let's stick for another 5 minutes. I think that would be fine with all of you, right? Okay, so let's stick for another 5 minutes and then we're going to wrap this thing up. But thank you so much, everybody, for sticking for so long and asking these amazing questions. I love discussing this with Justė and Sadie. So this one's done. I signed on late and you may have covered this already. How do you suggest, or what steps should I take to get more customers? Well, that's something that we didn't really cover today. That's mostly on the acquisition side, right? So one thing you should do is you should definitely have a pop-up form or some sort of sign-up form to collect more subscribers. And then you can do a lot of things to turn those subscribers into buyers. That's the first thing I would do if you're still not doing that.
And one thing what we as well covered, right? If you already have some user base and you want to double or triple it, so you can use segments like champions or loyalists, or who bought from you recently and for much of money. You can sync that with Facebook or Google and create a lookalike audience to target similar profile people, because the chance that they will like your brand and be interested is quite big. So that's one of the way to acquire new users.
Yep, that's really powerful. If you have the budget to do that, that's really, really powerful. And now I see a question in the chat. Is there a list of segment ideas? Well, there's a list of suggested segments inside of the audience page. That's something you can get started with if you've never segmented your audience before. And the 3 different reports that you can segment your audience based on that we covered today are customer lifecycle stages, funnels, and product analytics. So those are a lot of places where you can find suggested segments. What we're going to do actually is we're going to share the presentation that we looked at today with you by email in the follow-up email. So you will be able to go through that as well as the recording if you miss something. So you're always, we want to make sure that you're up to speed.
Also, to add here to Aleksej, right, with those segments, when you, for example, go to Lifecycle Stages Map and you click on a cell, you will be offered a segment which is built from those people, and you will see the criteria, what is in there. So you will also have a chance to tweak that segment if you want, take some criteria out or add in, then you just save it and you will find it under your segments and audiences, and then you will be able to employ it when you create a campaign. So basically, to find a segment, you have to click on a cell and save it, but it's there already waiting for you.
And I think there's a question that Sadie could address, which is about the love languages. It says, Sadie mentioned love languages and how some customers would prefer SMS over email. How do you set up campaigns to differentiate the content in those 2 channels? How do you use the same content, or do you use different content? And if so, how do you make sure that it's different?
So actually, I think consistency. I also compare email and SMS. It's another type of social media platform. So even I would be consistent on all platforms that you're socializing with your subscribers. So if you're telling your Instagram followers that you're launching a new collection, you also want to send that to your email subscribers, and you want to send that to your SMS subscribers. After some time, you'll be able to segment customers based on their engagement with either email or SMS. And then you can kind of determine, okay, well, this customer isn't engaged with email, so I'm going to unsubscribe them from email, but I'm going to keep them on SMS because they're clicking on my SMS campaigns, they're converting from my SMS campaigns. So I would stay consistent in the messaging.
All right, great. Another one, do you have suggestions for automations with stores that have constantly changing inventory? Can Omnisend automatically pull new arrivals from Shopify? A very, very simple question. Yes, we can do that. Our email content editor has a product recommender, and one of the settings that you can select is new arrivals. So it's automatically going to send the newest arrivals to each customer, and it's going to update in real time. Okay, and one last one, and I think that's been exactly 5 minutes since I've said that it's going to be another 5 minutes. So let's do this final one and wrap it up for today. So the question is, what are some basic automations I can send to my customers? I don't do anything besides abandoned carts and the thank you for subscribing. I have an online streetwear store. I have trouble converting my email base into sales.
All right, I'm going to start first because this is my favorite.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome series. The welcome series, I believe, is the most important email series that you can do automation wise. And don't be afraid to send several emails in your welcome series. This is your time to shine. This is, okay, you know, I haven't purchased anything from you, but I'm signing up for your email because I'm interested. You don't actually have to include a promotion to get email sign up. You could do something creative like a giveaway, you know, sign up and be entered into a giveaway. We give away a package once a month. But make that first impression with the welcome series. Tell them why they should purchase with you instead of your competitors. What makes you special? Also, if you're a small business, I've been telling my clients, if you're a small business, now is the time to be in that space because more customers are willing to support small businesses versus supporting these big box stores. So make sure that your messaging is very, just tell your story in that welcome series. You can also do product recommendations in the welcome series to kind of help your customers along the way. Include generic reviews about your products. Include maybe even a contact us CTA in your email as well. So if they do have any questions, then they can contact you immediately. There's a ton of different things, but for sure, the welcome series is the most important series in automations.
We also have data, and I talk about this all the time, but more than 50% of automated email conversions come from the welcome series and the abandoned cart. So just two workflows. So if you have the abandoned cart, maybe you should look into how to make it better. Another thing that you can do besides the welcome series is make sure that you have a good offer in there, a good discount. Usually in the second email is where I would do it. So in the first one, you just casually remind them, you don't get too pushy. You just remind them about their abandoned products. In the second one, if they're still hesitant, you hit them with a discount. Something like 10% off is going to work best. So take another look at your automations that you already have, and maybe you can make them better. You can optimize them.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Maybe one thing which is not very related to email marketing here, but you know, if you have issues converting customers into sales, you can look into funnels and see where they drop off the most. If it's a purchase stage, right, you can take a look. Maybe your sign out process is complicated and people do not finish it there. So you can try to address that situation. And maybe, you know, or maybe the usual thing is sometimes happen that people are afraid of shipping costs. So try offering discount or shipping or free shipping for sometimes. Just experiment and see if that helps actually to convert them into purchase.
Yeah. Again,
I love that.
More. I also implement splits in a lot of my abandoned cart automations. You can split on cart sum. So if their cart sum is over $50, we're going to send them a discount. If it's not over $50, that cart's not valuable to me, so I'm not going to send it to them. And then also, as Justė mentioned, if you already have a free shipping, if you spend $50, do the same thing, split by cart sum, and say in the subject line of that first abandoned cart email, hey, did you know you qualify for free shipping? You could have it plastered all over your website, but if you include it in the subject line of your email, a lot of people that's the first time that they see it. And so they're like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and because I get free shipping. If they're not over that threshold, you could say, hey, did you know that if you spend X amount of dollars, you qualify for free shipping? And you're going to knock two birds with one stone in this. They're going to increase the value of their cart to get free shipping, or at least I would, and I know a lot of people would. And then 2, they're going to complete that purchase as well. So, let these automations do the work for you. Make sure that your messaging is, as effective as it can be, and make sure that you're helping your customers complete their purchase whenever we're talking about abandoned cart messaging. Again, have a contact us CTA in case they have any questions. If you have a product that is wearable, include a size guide in your abandoned cart automations. Try to help your customers in that customer journey to eliminate any issues that they might have.
All right, thanks so much for those insights, Sadie, once again. And that being said, we are going to be wrapping this thing up. We don't have any more questions. We have another one. Is there a blog post or spot where we can see all these different ideas listed out with the first ones to focus on? So what we're going to do is we're going to share the presentation with you today. And the top 3 things that we shared today were customer lifecycle stages, funnels, and product analytics. So what everybody promised to do is go ahead and try one of those out after this webinar. Create a segment based on the customer lifecycle stages or funnels or product analytics. So you have to do that. That's your first step. And you're going to receive the presentation in 24 hours along with the recording. So if you missed anything, you can go over that as well. And that being said, we are going to have to wrap this up for today, unfortunately. We're going to be back as soon as we can for another webinar, but I mean, today's been amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. Raise a hand if you enjoyed it too. I mean, I certainly did. Here's my hand. Here's my hand, everybody. Okay. Thank you so much to all of you who stuck until the end. I really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you, Justė and Sadie, for doing this thing with me today. One last thing, we have our contact information on the screen right now. So Aleksej, Justė, and Sadie at omnisend.com. Maybe you were too shy to ask your question today, or maybe it just didn't come to mind right now, but you're going to have a lot of questions afterwards. Feel free to reach out to us personally. I mean, we're marketers too, and we're driving our customer retention too by working with you personally. So don't hesitate. We're here for you. Your success is our success. When you grow, we grow. So we are always here for you. That being said, Justė, Sadie, do you have any final words?
I could go on for days if I'm being honest, but we need to wrap it up sometime.
Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. And as Aleksej said, ping us if you have any questions, want to discuss something. We're happy to support you. We're also experiencing the same growth pains as you are, so we just can share our experience over the cup of coffee.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody, and bye. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
See you next time. Bye.